Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back to the show today. We are joined now by Jim Fannin here, who's in along with Robert Kaufman, right, for Critical Thinking for Success. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. Thank you very much.
Great. Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, I've been coaching since 1974. It's kind of hard to comprehend that I'm even 71 years old. That's shocking, but
shocking to me too, looking at you. Yes, my goodness.
I have zero negative thoughts. I just don't. My clients have never heard me ever negative. So I coach the best athletes in the world. Alex Rodriguez, I coached him 16 years, and so a lot of baseball, a lot of football, NFL, but I also coach Microsoft, their leadership team, GE, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been an executive coach. I'm called the zone coach. I have one expertise, and it's helping people get into a mindset of peak performance. And that is my expertise. My wife reminds me I have one expertise. Thank you, my dear. I am an expert on helping people get into a zone mindset for almost 50 years now.
Zone coach. And how did you get into this field? Was this something innate that was always in you and drove you as a child? Or how did this happen?
I had an American Indian, Cherokee Indian grandfather who I was born and raised in Appalachia on a dirt floor, outhouse, well water in southeastern Kentucky. So I had a grandfather who really taught me on how to be aware, walking in the woods, how to visualize. And also, if you get lost, I'd be 4 years old, and he'd blindfold me and take me into the woods after training me. And I'm 4 years old. I'd go out a mile, and he would say, count as high as you can. And when you think I'm gone or you can't count any higher, take your blindfold off, and you'll find your way home. You remember what you do. And I said, yes, I breathe. I have to adapt to my condition. I need to lower my breathing. What else? Well, you're never lost. You just haven't found your way. And then what do you do, Jimmy? You go to higher ground to get up above the fray. So I'd climb a tree, go up on a hill, get up on a rock. From that place, I could see maybe some smoke from a chimney from my house. And of course, he was always there. My grandmother, I don't know what she would have done to him. He was hiding in the woods. But we did that scenario for about 7, 8 years. And I'm never lost. I just haven't found my way. Today, how many people are lost? We're thinking today more thoughts and more negative thoughts than in any time in history. The average person has 2,000 to 3,000 thoughts a day. Those are increasing.
Why?
3,000 thoughts. Stress. 80% of your thoughts are in the future and the past, and only 20% looking people in the eye long enough to discern eye color.
Oh.
I research, from the hills of Kentucky. I won a state tennis tournament. I went out on the pro tour. I played pro tennis. I coached 7 players, top 10 in the world in the 70s. But I did a research project in Ohio State, independent of the university, with 3 PhDs, and we tested 250 children on the premise, how do we facilitate super learning? You and I learn more in the first 60 months of life than the rest of our life accumulative. You may have heard that.
Yes.
That was our research.
Wow.
Why did you learn so much in the first 60 months? Because your thoughts were in the moment. 100% in the moment. 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old grandson. He's in the moment. Adults introduce the past. I told you not to do that. You'll never be like your brother. You need to pick it up. So adults introduce future past. So in the first 60 months of everyone on this planet's life, you learn more because you're in the moment. You had no past. You're 3. You have no future. I don't have a watch.
Mm-hmm.
You have no concept of time. So that was the research. And I wrote a book on it. Doubleday published it back in the 70s, and started doing parent seminars. We franchised the program. 250,000 children went through it in the 70s.
Wow.
And then, of course, in the seminars, does this work for baseball? Yes, it does. Does this work for business? Of course. And that just launched a cottage industry for me. And what we learned in 1974 is you have a higher level of self-discipline at any given time. And when chaos hits, that self-discipline can go out the window. That triggers cortisol, which gets you kind of up and motivated. We also discovered a concentration marker in these children where their focus could change. We watched cartoons to see how do they draw the kid in. Well, the cartoon changed every 2.5 seconds. So it just pulls you into the TV set. Concentration produces glycogen. That narrows your focus. We discovered another marker of optimism, which produces endorphins. That's a feel-good chemical where nothing can go wrong. And the other two markers that we discovered in 1974, relaxation, that produces serotonin. We're not very high on serotonin these days as humans. And then last is enjoyment, which produces dopamine. And here's what happens. All 5 of those markers at a high level at one time, that chemical cocktail can double or triple your shutter speed to slow life down.
Wow.
That chemical cocktail, which is the zone, what athletes call the zone, being in the zone, it's not limited just to superstar athletes. Everyone listening, everybody watching can attract this zone state. So what we've done for the last 48 years, we design life blueprints for every one of my clients, over 3,000 clients. Frank Thomas came to me, Chicago White Sox, and I said, so what do you want? Why am I here? Rookie year, old Comiskey Park. And Frank looked me in the eye. He knew I coached other players. He looked me in the eye and said, Hall of Fame. I'm like, Hall of Fame? I said, it's going to cost you. He said, how much you charge? I said, no, my fee's chump change. How much you going to make? My fee's irrelevant. You have to sacrifice. If you have abnormal dreams, you got to think in an abnormal way. You're going to miss your daughter's birthday party. I don't have any kids. 20 years, you may have 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to miss your anniversary with your wife. I don't even have a girlfriend. I hope you don't have 3 wives, but 20 years is a long time. And here's what he did on that day. 2:00 in the afternoon, we're alone. I said, go to Cooperstown in your mind. Have you been there? Yes. Give me your Hall of Fame induction speech. And he did in his mind in real time as a rookie. While he did that, I shut my eyes and visualized listening to it in Cooperstown. 22 years later, Frank gets up to do the induction. He gives me I couldn't have done it without the zone coach. I started crying like
I'm crying now. That is
I'm like,
amazing.
"Oh." Frank starts crying. We're the only 2 that knew we'd already done this before 20 years earlier. So that's what I do for a living. And you know what? The best in the world don't go from A to B. Well, you've been trained to do that. Here's A, draw a straight line, here's B. The best goes straight to B. You got to see what you want and then go after that. If I want to write a book, it's not about writing a book. Everybody say, oh, I want to be an author. I want to write a book. I've written a lot of books, but that wasn't the goal. The goal is, what do I want people to think and do when the book is finished?
Oh, yeah.
It's aftermath thinking. So Frank Thomas went to the Hall of Fame mentally, saw how his life changed, and then chronologically, back from that point, what are you doing the year before the Hall? 2 years before? What's your last year going to be like when your skills may be eroding? You may have to mentally take over. And we back it up from 20 years back up to how you going to approach the plate tonight. And that runway pops like a runway out at LaGuardia at night. And you can walk on it as if it's so. That's what I do for a living. I do this in golf. I coached Luke Donald to #1. We went B to A, and he had to become #1 in his mind long before we actually got #1.
So nothing great happens without a blueprint.
Nothing.
Right.
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 Raising a kid, building a business, building your house. Nothing great happens without a blueprint. And right now, think about, you're more than an interviewer. You're so much more than that.
Hey, I have a 4- and 6-year-old, so I was really intently listening. You have a grandchild. You said that's 3.
It's
Their minds, how much they absorb. You put that back into perspective for me. I've heard about it, but wow.
They're master mimics. They
Yep.
are master mimics. You got be careful what you say and do around your kids. They pick it up. But you're more Frank Thomas than a baseball player. You're a son. You're a brother.
Yep.
You're a father now. You're a friend. You got your own personal money. We segregate your life in these standalone containers, have visions and goals for each. We have an app where you can manage your life. And we're doing this now, and I'm most excited right now. I licensed this program to Recovery Zone Solutions.
Wow.
Our opioid crisis right now is out of control. People aren't talking about it like they need to.
Like
It's
they were
work.
a little bit before COVID came in. I mean, I'm in New York. Where are you?
I'm in Chicago. Recovery Zone Solutions is in New Jersey. But right now, we have an implant that uses naltrexone, a non-opioid drug. That implant goes in a tricep by one of our surgeons. You have no appetite for opioids or alcohol up to 6 months. And then we have the most amazing therapist. They train you in this life management system with an app, sending notices to you on a regular basis, helping you with relaxation and rebuilding your life. So I'm excited about that. It's the first time I've ever licensed my program to a third party, but the industry average on addiction recovery, 7 to 14%. We're approaching 90% success. And you recover at home. You go home the next day. You're back in the military, active the next day. Your eyes clear up. Now you wake up to a trashed life. You've upset everybody. You've stolen money. You've lied. You've got to rebuild the relationships. And these amazing therapists start rebuilding the constants. The person with the most constants in a world of variables prevails. An addict, there's only one constant. I need a bag of fentanyl. I need a drink. Everything else is a variable. So even if you have a business right now, you have no addiction, you need to build some constants in your life. And I think the hardest constants are mental constants. Getting up happy, going to bed happy. You better get that going with these little kids, because when they're 13, the peer group takes over. Get those constants in early. Your kids are only as good as what they think when you're not there. Your responsibility as a parent, turn your kids into world-class decision makers. I mean, you got to let them fail a little bit too.
Well, this is beautiful. So Jim, tell us your website. How could we get in touch with you in regards to this program?
Well, if Recovery Zone Solutions, it's www.recoveryzs.com. Phone number 1-866-697-9711. That's for anyone that is having addiction challenges. But I can be reached for coaching at askjim@jimfannin.com, askjim@jimfannin.com. And one more thing, I'm doing an awesome Golf in the Zone school in Florida on the 19th with one of the top 50 instructors, Brian Mogg, in the world. You can go to zonecoach.com/golf school, or just call me or send me an email at askjim@jimfannin.com, and I'll help you find exactly what you need.
And where in Florida is this Golf in the Zone taking place?
It's going to be at the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando, Florida on April 19th this year.
Wonderful. All right, Jim, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. When we return, obviously, we're going to talk more about how you and your coaching services, you as the zone coach, can help those watching and listening today. And it's not just for athletes, it's for normal people too who want to succeed in any part of life, right?
Right. And I have some tips when we come back.
Beautiful. Stand by. I'll be right back with more after this.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back here to the zone. We're going to call it now because Jim Fannin joins us and he's all about the zone. He is the zone coach and he can help you in so many different ways. So yeah, we're looking forward to hear some of these tips on how we can all get in the zone.
Well, here's a simple tip. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Fannin Official. I'm giving daily to every day. I give some tips.
I'm going to follow you right now if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Come on. So here it is. Everybody shut your eyes. Drop your head down to your chest. And I'm going to ask you to do something I don't like to do. Think of something not good. I don't want to know what it is. Think of a negative thought and hold that thought. With your eyes shut, put your head up toward the ceiling. Raise your head up like a light switch. Keep the negative thought. Drop your head back down to your chest. Drop it down like a light switch on the wall. Now one more time, back up. And now look forward. Open your eyes. 75% of the audience that does this simple little exercise called the light switch. When your head goes up, that negative thought goes away and you have to reconjure it and restructure it to get in your mind. But when you drop your head, it's robust, concise, and clear. Mama's right. Keep your chin up, Jimmy. Keep your chin up. Any negative that you have, a negative text, a negative tweet, a negative dirty look from someone, put your head up. I had athletes strike out. If you raise your chin, you won't replay the negative. I have golfers right now on the Pro Tour. They hit a negative shot, they raise their head, and they'll stay present. They won't replay the negative. That's how you get rid of worry. If you have a negative thought, raise your head, you won't replay it, and worry will melt away. You can't worry unless you go into the past. Use your imagination to project it in the future. Now I've got an important tip for you.
Okay.
Very important. These are the four most powerful words you're going to say to your kids in the last 30 minutes of sleep.
Okay.
They're laying there sleeping, almost. They're still conscious. Touch their hair, rub their shoulder, lower your voice, add silence between these four powerful words. I believe in you. And then leave the room. Science has proven in the last 30 minutes, your subconscious records every thought and feeling. And when you drift into a deep REM state about an hour later,
okay,
it's replayed 15 to 20 times. You want to build self-esteem in your two kids, you have that power statement from someone they love, low voice. By adding silence between the words, retention increases 40%. I believe in you. Yeah. Don't qualify it, leave the room. Okay. Don't do it every night. Do it 2 or 3 times a week with the two kids separate.
And just curious, this is before they wake up or when they're going to bed, or this is a half hour before they wake up?
It's the last 30 minutes before they drift off to sleep. So they're already in bed.
Got it.
And this is for parents. That last 30 minutes, that's when you only think about what you want, not what you don't want, because it's recorded throughout the night. That's why you don't have a good night's sleep. I'm not sure I'd watch the news today in the last 30 minutes. I'm not going to talk about any negative past. You must have a clean, clear mind, especially in the last 30 minutes. Right. It's a big deal. So everybody keep your chin up. The zone is easily to be attracted, and you don't need to be a superstar athlete. This is for anyone and everyone. And can you imagine getting everybody in your company in a zone? We're doing that right now. No negativity. A lot of corporate training. A lot of corporate training. No, we're changing culture. Extreme positivity. No rumor, no hearsay, no controversy, no assumption thinking. We've eliminated that. And I'm sure it exists, but no one rears its head in public within the company. This is crucial now, especially with remote workers.
Oh, yeah. This year.
It's a big deal that your workers are only as good as what they think about your services and products when the big boss is not there.
Mhm.
You don't manage people, you influence thoughts.
Yeah. Jim, this is awesome. By the way, I'm following you now here. Zone Coach on Instagram. I urge you all to do the same. And even I see a post on there, right? It says, hold my hand and I'll feel secure. Hug me and I'll feel safe. Hug me tightly and I'll feel loved. I mean, that's just beautiful, right? Control what you can control. Focus on your own performance. Wow. Wow. Amazing stuff here, because you're right. It's all about positivity. And I'm just naturally a positive person. And I try to instill this each and every day with my kids. But hey, it's difficult. You know what it's like to have kids. It's not always easy. We all want. We want better careers, better, jobs, better everything. But not all of us can manifest that. So with your type of training and in the zone coaching, are you saying we can really get what we want?
If you have, I mean, you're not going to win Wimbledon this year because you probably don't play tennis. So it's not going to make you something you cannot be physically.
But within your ability.
Guaranteed. This formula has worked since '74 with the best in the world. I've been selling to the rich and famous, Hollywood, New York, globally. And right now we're opening it up to the masses, mainly because what's going on right now has never happened in our country, where 74%, according to the American Psychiatric Association, 74%, 3 out of 4 people have symptoms of chronic depression. I mean, that's fetal position, put down the blinds, and I don't want to go out of my room or get out of my bed. 3 out of 4 people. And stress runs downhill. It's running from dad, mom, and it's impacting 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. How's that possible? So it is possible. Kids are picking this up on a psychic level. They're picking up with watching your body language on how you react to stress. So we got to keep stress away from our children. It's impacting their learning. Remote learning is a difficult thing. It's not for everybody. So,
and Jim, this year in particular, right? This has been the hardest year ever with this pandemic. Who would have thought we'd be here in 2020, 2021? But we are. And, it's changed so many people's lives, losing friends, loved ones to this, this horrible pandemic, let alone losing your job, the instability, the homeschooling, that life has changed in so many different ways. We've learned how to pivot in a sense. We're trying to, but the anxiety and stress has to be up. I mean, domestic violence is up. I mean, so a lot of us are.
Child abuse is up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, right now, you need a vision that wakes you up in the morning and tucks you in bed at night. I interviewed 100 world champions. Why are you great? Ask one question. Why are you so great? Number 1 in the world. One was the CEO of a toy company, the number 1 toy company. Why are you great? Every one of them, in their own way, said, I had a dream. I had a vision. It woke me up and tucked me in bed at night. But you need a vision for every part of your life, not just your business. Most of us put all of our happy eggs in our primary business arena, but you're so much more than that. And you've got to contain each of these aspects of your life. And that's what we do in our company is we build blueprints with you. We put it on our website, which we've had for 22 years, the Zone Coach platform. And then we help you manifest it on a day-to-day basis. So create your vision because it needs to pull you through adversity. And that vision, it's got to be strong to really inspire you. And I think that's where a lot of people have the missteps. And then secondly, you got to flesh the blueprint out with timeline and well-designed goals that motivate you as stepping stones every day. And that's what we do.
Should we put it down on paper? Should we have a vision board? Should we see it each and every day?
Absolutely.
Eat it, live it, breathe it.
Well, with our website, we have the vision board. We build it. You can have a blueprint within 10 minutes if you were one of our clients. We have every goal of over 3,000 of my clients are in our website. So there's drop-down boxes. If you want to whatever you want in golf. There's a drop-down box for golf. There's a drop-down box for all your goals for personal finance, or you can customize it yourself. But nothing great happens until you have that blueprint tucked under your arm, and then you got to commit to it. And that can be a stumbling block for most people.
Jim Fannin, I like you. I love your energy. You are the Zone Coach. Tell people how to contact you and how they can get started.
Well, our website's jimfannin.com, and you can reach us at askjim, ASKJIM, at jimfannin.com. You also have our Recovery Zone Solutions. If any of your friends or family, that phone number is 866-697-9711. Follow me on Instagram, obviously. And don't forget my Golf in the Zone school on the 19th. You'll drop 7-8 shots with your same old swing.
Amazing.
We've been doing that for decades.
Yeah, Orlando's a great spot. It's a time of year too. All right. Thank you so much, Jim. It's a pleasure getting to know you. And I hope our viewers and listeners do reach out. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to the next conversation. Let's stay positive. I'm in the zone now. I'm in the zone.
It's the only place to be.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I want to say to you, if you don't mind. Do you know what I want to say?
Tell me.
I believe in you. I got it for the kids tonight. Thank you. Have a great day.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.